We are the One Story Podcast. We believe in the power of a story. Everyone has a story, and that story is meaningful. Your story can make a difference. Your story can inspire others. Your story is important. At the same time, ultimately, everyone's story is a part of one story, the big God story.
It's not what you said. You're not who you said you were. When are you alone? When will you come back home?
What's up, everyone? We're back. This is the One Story Podcast. My name is Drew, and I'm with my friend Isaac.
What up, bud?
You know, just hanging out, having a good old time. What?
I don't know.
Oh, he was on the verge of laughter. Such a goofball.
That's my name, Laughter. So I just try to live up to it.
Oh, it's true. What do we got today? This is episode 45. We are 45
Got
episodes
the
in.
joy down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
Today, we'd like to remind you that we have a live show coming up.
What?
December 14th. We are plugging it, advertising it. It's just going crazy. All of the responses we've had. This might be 1,000-person event.
People are scalping tickets already. It's crazy.
It's nuts. Ticketmaster called the other day and said that we might have to find another venue because it's already sold out in the first, 10 minutes?
Oh, man. It's gone.
So anyways.
I don't even know why we're advertising this.
Well, maybe we shouldn't. We'll find a way. We'll get you there. So December 14th.
If you want in, just hit us up. We'll make it happen.
RSVP at our on our email, onestorypodcast@gmail.com. Tell us if you're coming. It's going to be a celebration of the podcast and our guests in this past year of stories. Really, ultimately, Jesus' story inside of all of our lives. And we asked for RSVP so that voice
just took a dump.
And now I can't talk. No, we asked for RSVP so that we can plan for a head count with for the refreshments afterwards and all set up and all that good stuff. So yeah, we want to see you there. If you're a listener and you want to come support, let us know and we meet in person. All that.
Bring a friend.
Bring a friend. We're just gonna have a good time. December 14th in Chino, California. And that the address is
5559 Park Place. At Park Place. I guess Place is the street.
Okay.
Anyways, 5559 Park Place, Chino, California, 91710.
All right. So we hope to see you there. Today we have Jake Piering and Matt Johnson, two really cool dudes that started a ministry called Common Ground. It's out of Huntington Beach, California. We'll share the full story.
Two really cool bras.
It's cool bros. And
Broses.
they, as we mentioned last week, in Brian Sumner's episode, we recorded both of those episodes at Common Ground. So just have a little grace with the sound. We had some of the kids that were coming in, and it was funny. They were just sat around and started watching, and then just being loud and stuff. So, but it was all good. And so it was an away game, as Isaac likes to say, because it was. We went on our home court.
Took the show on the road. It was fun.
And it was a lot of fun. And the story.
No one at your work listens, do they?
Yeah.
Maybe. We played hooky. Ditched work to go record.
Because we went a little early. And yeah, it was just a cool story of two guys that just stepping out in faith and starting a ministry that's really grown into something really, really big. And I don't want to give away too much of it, but it's
I just wanted to say that I actually just went just because I knew that they were close to my favorite donut shop, the Donuttery.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Our the unofficial sponsor of One Story Podcast, the Donuttery,
and
located in lovely Huntington Beach.
We're trying to switch that out with Golden Boy donuts.
Yeah, so that was the funny part. I'm like, I love Donuttery. Then we got shut down. Apparently, Golden Boy is located down the street, and it's better.
There. You should actually probably try it just to compare.
Did you enjoy those donuts from Donuttery?
I mean, honestly,
after Ty hooked us up,
the
homeboy Ty hooked us up, and you're gonna dog him.
All I'm saying is they were good donuts, but it's not like you made it seem like you would have to travel to the ends of the world to have this donut.
I honestly would say that I would I do definitely believe that.
With food, to each their own. I didn't think they were that great. So.
I hate you.
So anyways.
You and Nora shutting me down.
Nora.
Remember Nora?
So here's
Donuttery sucks. It's all about Golden Boy.
That was funny. Your heart was crushed.
I was so sad.
Here's an episode with Jake and Matt. Hope you enjoy.
Stress out.
It's just there because time is weighing on us every single
time
day.
is money. Time is money.
So, we're here at Common Ground. This is, we're live and on site. Would we call it live? No, we won't call it live.
This is live.
Let's hope nothing happens out there.
What'd you say? Oh, because you're not watching them?
Yeah, well, we got an eye on them, but from a distance.
How does that work?
They're
Let's explain where we're at real quick.
Okay.
So
give us the background.
We're sitting with Jake and Matt. Can you explain where we're sitting?
Yeah, we're currently in kind of the arts area. We have a little cabinet over here to our left that has a lot of art supplies for them, and then we're looking out into a field where the skate park is. We got a few skaters out there right now. There's a soccer turf. No one's currently playing soccer right now, but we're in our warehouse. This is where a lot of things happen. We have our just a lot of events that go on in here. We got three giant roll-up doors. This place is pretty big. It's really tall. It's about 12 feet. What is that? 13 feet high. Really tall.
Hold on, I got a measuring tape.
Yeah, let's get that. Let me stand on my shoulders.
They got that new thing on the iPhone where you can measure, right?
That screwed me
Jake,
up already.
Jake tried that once.
It didn't work.
I had to return something. I thought I measured it out on that thing. It didn't work. So.
Well, there you go. iPhone figured it out. And then you got some skate ramps here too.
Oh, yeah.
At the skate, you called it a skate park, but I'm looking at ramps and some kids skating. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome little site you guys got here.
That's another story.
We owned a skate park before I owned a skateboard, so
really?
not much skaters
That's
ourselves,
funny.
but we got a lot of kids who like to skate.
Well, right on, man.
And so what is it that you guys do here?
So this is the hub of all of our ministries. So we have 7 different ministries that we run through our warehouse each week. And so we have things for junior high and high school primarily, but then just the community as a whole that we serve. We do a lot of community events through here. So the doors are open Monday through Friday, and we're always doing lots of events. That's constantly kids running in and out of here.
Right on.
Yeah.
And that's Matt talking for reference. I said that I was gonna point out who was who. And
So
Jake,
for the listeners,
why don't you say something on the mic?
Matt's
Jake?
on the left ear and Jake's on the right ear.
This is
on the right
Jake.
speaker.
I'll try and sound differently, but
Yeah.
Hey, someone someone do the deep voice and then
Matt's got a deeper voice. You can go with that.
Yeah.
that was a failed attempt, brother.
Anyways, we got Jake and Matt here. So let's get into now. You guys know where we are, where we're recording this. Let's hear the start, the genesis of Common Ground.
The origin.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you guys even know, but we started actually out in South Africa. So
really?
Quite a bit different, yeah. So Jake and I, we met at a wedding where I always meet all my friends.
In South Africa?
No,
Dang, that's one heck of a destination wedding. Imagine if that was your friend or like, we're getting married in South Africa. Like, come on, guy.
I'm there.
Yeah, and so he was going to be living with his grandparents, but I was living with about 9 guys in Newport Beach.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him if he wanted to live there instead, and he's like, yeah. So first day I met him, I asked if he wanted to move in, and love at first sight, if you will. But
you're moving on pretty fast here.
10 guys in a house.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah. But then about two years later, I graduated college, and we decided that we were going to go on a missions trip out to South Africa. And so we started working with an organization called Aleph, and what they do is they teach kids within the township areas of South Africa how to surf, and through that kind of activity, they'll share Christ with them and share a meal with them. And so that's really where we kind of got this bug for sharing Christ through a sport.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So
it was a pretty crazy trip. We thinking about it, we wanted to go overseas somewhere. We kind of had the normal okay, what do you do overseas? Like you go work with an organization, or you either go with the church and you spend the $6,000 cost to go there. But we were like, let's do something independently. Let's just go. And we were like, our original thing was like, let's just bring like some soccer balls and live in a township or something. It was like really dumb. Like we had no idea. Like we just wanted to go. We wanted to do something. So connecting with Aleph was pretty wild because it kind of was my first mission trip. So it was kind of this idea that, oh, you can have a lot of fun. You can go surfing with kids that, you know, that normally have never surfed before, and you can have a lot of fun doing ministry. And that was kind of very eye-opening for myself, knowing that you could have so much fun in a crazy different place.
Right.
Sharing Christ.
So you guys are both surfers.
Yeah, we like to.
I try.
Like to say.
From Wisconsin, so.
Wisconsin. No, that's cool though. And then so you get, like you said, you get to do something fun.
Hold on. Speaking of Wisconsin, Making Her Murderer, season 2.
Oh, see,
Oh yeah, I've not seen it yet.
There's a second season?
Have
Yeah.
you seen it? Is it
No,
I
I watched
the
the whole
first
season.
I think you did it.
already? You binged
Do you
it?
think he did it?
Oh yeah.
I don't think so, man. That
Man,
lady had
I've
me
heard
sold.
a lot of things that
Really?
Wait,
they did not play
But
everything.
have you seen
way.
the second season?
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's, I mean,
Then you
he's
have no
speaking
idea.
from very little
From
experience.
season
It's
one.
it's
And where'd you
hunch.
get that information? you got it from
I got friends
from the
down there,
Manitowoc
man.
County
we're
Sheriff.
We're all related somehow. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
that's
Go
funny.
ahead, you guys.
No,
It's just funny because I watched that the day it came out. I finished it in that weekend, and then Monday I was ready to talk about it. No one saw it. And I was like, wait.
that was
I didn't even know all episodes
a
were out yet.
monumental
You're through
documentary.
it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I think all documentaries kind of have that same kind of look to them now.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just
It's like he didn't do it.
Yeah.
This is what this is about.
Well, they play with your emotion. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they
You know,
know.
They're putting that together.
Yeah.
Anyways, we
Sorry,
can talk
guys.
about this
Yeah,
for
let's
another
just
half
talk
hour,
about it.
or we can go back to common ground. I say we go common ground. Okay. So from there, the trip to South Africa. What happened next?
Yeah, so we were there for 3 months and 90
wow.
days.
3 months.
On the dot, we left on day 90, and that was the last day you were legally able to be there without a visa. So
Oh, okay.
we left, and we came back to our hometown, which was in this area. And so we really didn't know what we were going to do. I started working a job, Jake as well. And at that time, we still had that passion for, teaching kids the gospel of Christ through a sport, and in particular the sport of surfing. And so
Right.
we didn't really know what that was going to play out to be eventually, and we just knew we had that in our heart. And the church that we were attending at the time, they really wanted to start getting invested in this community called Oakview, where we're actually in right now.
Where
And we have a warehouse, yeah. And so Oakview is kind of known as a lower income community. There's a lot more juvenile crime, and there's a few gangs that are kind of in the community. And so,
And for the listeners, this is smack dab in the middle of Huntington Beach, Orange County, where, I mean, the beach is how far away? A mile?
10-minute drive.
Yeah. And so, but like you said, there's a lower, where around there's, there's a lot of, what do you say, mid to upper class
yeah.
all around this.
Yeah, and so this community it's just a square mile that we're in, and there's over 10,000 residents. So you have a lot
Dang.
of high density residential area where kids are kind of piling into one apartment, and so yeah, we decided to kind of spearhead this surf ministry through this community, and Jake can share kind of how we started that.
Yeah, I mean, we never doing this before. Started passing out flyers, or I don't even think we had. I think we had flyers the first time, but we went around house to house inviting kids to come surfing. We were just 2 white dudes walking around. It might have looked kind of weird. I have red hair as well, so. Anyways, we were walking around inviting kids to this, and through most of the neighborhood that we hit up, nine kids showed up. I think 9 kids showed
That's
up.
pretty
so we
good
were
for-
stoked.
yeah,
we
yeah.
were into it. I was expecting more.
We knocked on a lot of doors.
We knocked on a lot of doors.
but you got that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nine kids.
Yeah,
9
definitely.
kids. So,
And primarily it's a Hispanic community.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So, so we would take them all down to the beach, 10 minutes away, like we said. We witnessed a lot of these kids, had not been to the beach.
That's
or
crazy.
We witnessed a lot of kids that went into the water for the first time.
Wow.
Walking kids in with just so we were expecting, like, we had this view like, oh dude, we're gonna raise up the next Oakview surf team, and we just realized that we still have to learn how to swim here.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's
gnarly.
Yeah. it was pretty wild. So it was a setback, but we were like, whoa, this is still really cool. I mean, these kids they're stoked to be down at the water. We did a lot boogie boarding. We actually were trying to, it was more intentional. When we had 9 kids, it was a lot more intentional with trying to get them all surfing and pushing them into more waves. So yeah, we would take them, we would go out surfing, and then we'd have a short little Bible study we'd do with them. We'd kind of walk them through a little series, and then people would donate food. So we'd have dinner together as well. So that was
That's
nice for them to have a nice meal.
And was it
afterwards.
just you two and the kids, or like their families would come, or was it just the kids?
We had some volunteers through the church, and it was also a lot of our friends too.
Mostly, yeah.
We rallied
got a
up
lot
for
of
the
friends.
first
So-
couple
so
years.
was-
we still have a lot of roommates that we pulled
Yeah,
from, so.
we did.
Nice.
What about the parents of the kids?
Not as involved. We have one mom, Nora.
Nora,
who
which
you guys
we met.
earlier.
We met her,
Okay.
yeah.
She's the mother hen over here. She
She
was
threw a chancla
involved,
at me.
very involved. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was very involved. But I mean, most of these kids still to this day, when we go places like Death Valley, we say, hey, have your parents sign this, and we never ever meet
But
them.
that's
Wow.
Okay.
Not
Well,
as
yeah.
involved.
Let me take a step back. What inspired you to come and focus in on this neighborhood?
I mean, the biggest thing I think is that it was the natural mission field for where we lived.
Okay.
It was in our backyard, and it made sense.
Were you guys
coming-
closer to the water?
What's that?
Were you guys closer to the water?
We live a little bit closer to the water,
Okay.
yeah. But it's like I said, our church was trying to get involved, and it was a natural step for us to take to at least peek into what it might look like to
Okay.
serving the community. And
And that was through branches.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
They
Yeah,
were
I mean-
they were already doing ministry in
a
Oakville.
little bit, yeah. They were
Yeah.
dealing with the elementary school.
Okay.
They were doing teacher appreciation meals, but yeah, I think it was just really lucky. I mean, it just a lot of just being eager to do something, and God still kind of directing us without us like knowing all the answers yet. Oh, this
Right.
Oakview, this is what we're gonna do. It was
Right.
like, I think our pastor was the one that said, you guys should do this in Oakview, and I was like, well, what's that? I'd never heard of it before. So
Was this Andrew Shea?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
the Andrew Shea.
Yeah. Indeed.
yeah. So when we first stepped into the community, we didn't know much about it. We just knew this is what we did in South Africa. We have passion for it, and let's try it
So
out.
even coming into neighborhood, the culture itself, you guys. I mean, you grew up in Wisconsin, Jake. You grew
No,
up
no,
here.
No, yeah.
Oh wait,
Other
I'm
way around.
Wisconsin.
and you're
Jake.
from
I grew up near the desert till I was
where
junior
in High Desert?
in Banning, California.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We're next to
And
Morongo.
then
It's a
yeah.
wonderful area.
oh, beautiful.
I
Land of
like the
free.
desert.
That's
Come
where
on,
we
man.
met,
Yeah, no,
actually.
Yeah.
It was Baiting.
Yeah, but then I moved to Lake Forest when I was in high school.
Okay, so the Latino culture, how familiar were you guys?
Not as familiar. I grew up around it.
Okay,
Just in Banning,
Uh-huh.
there's quite a lot of
that's a mix for
yeah,
sure.
for sure. Definitely more than Orange County.
Wisconsin, I'm sure, is just like Mexico over there.
Yeah. I've just always been a fan.
Midwest in
of
general.
Latino
You can get
culture,
some
so-
really good tacos there, right?
Yeah.
Wisconsin, that's where everybody goes for tacos. Wisconsin. People think tacos, they think Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cheese, I mean, it makes it, right?
taco brats.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
We'll work on that later. So yeah. So, well, your
Okay,
point, your
so
point is,
it was just because it had to be alien. I mean, that's takes a lot of really stepping out in faith to go try to connect with the culture, with people that the language, there might be a language barrier,
Yeah.
maybe a misunderstanding of why you guys are out there.
Mhm.
Well,
'cause
how-
people.
how was the connection with the kids? Like, after that first time.
We found the connection was strong when we had something to offer, and something was pizza. I think the first year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So we had a parent.
all roads lead to pizza.
Yeah, we had like a parent info night for our first surf camp, because who at the time I was 21 and so was Jake, I believe, and so 2 young guys coming in, knocking on doors, seeing if we want to take their kids surfing. We had to have
Right.
some sort of info night.
Yeah.
And so, I remember one kid in particular came up to him while he had just finished helping out his dad on a Saturday morning. I think they were doing some yard work, and they're like, hey, we're going to do this surf camp. We've never done it before, but we'd like you to come. Here's a flyer. And on the flyer it said, when our parent night was, and it said free pizza on it. And he looked at it. He's like, "There's gonna be pizza." And he's like, "I'm there." He's like, "Dad, we gotta go. Dad,
this is important.
Yeah. So we got to meet some of the parents there, and we quickly learned that things had to be translated. Our flyers had to be translated both English and Spanish.
Right. Yeah.
So we
maybe more so for the parents.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
the parents. Yeah.
The kids all speak really good English, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anything we send out is in Spanish as well. So
Do you guys speak Spanish now?
oh,
Not really.
I wish.
That's
I
what
do
that's
too.
what
I wish
so
too.
bad.
Yeah. I took 4 years of it, but I don't speak it as well as I used to.
I failed it in college. Sucks.
It was
It's
brutal for
hard.
me in high school.
Yeah.
So what was it? What were the next steps after that? What did it look like?
The next steps after our first surf camp, well, number one, we went on a camping trip because we discovered.
I remember that. I remember the announcement at church about the camping trip.
Yeah, and that was just spur of the moment for us. As we had those 9 kids, we took them for a month on these surf days down to the beach, and we quickly got to learn that, wow, a lot of these kids haven't either been to the beach or done certain things, and we're like, oh, we should take them camping. Like, that'd be fun. And so we took them camping, and a lot of kids actually accepted Christ at that camping trip. We had a
Wow,
camp
that's
speaker.
sick.
Yeah.
That must have pumped you up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool.
It was cool. They were out of their environment. Like I remember asking some of the kids, we always want to go camping, and it was what's camping? What's roasting marshmallows?
Yeah.
Sleeping
Dang.
bags. I remember rolling out sleeping bags. Some of them went in immediately, wouldn't leave their tents. They loved it. It was
Yeah.
it was really cool to see them get stoked and be in a different environment, something that they've never got to experience.
Yeah, and you're giving them a whole new experience. Like you said, like some hadn't even gone in the water or in the ocean, and now camping. I mean, that's pretty cool.
And that's what's cool about doing like a restoration through recreation. It's not as awkward.
Right.
We're sharing the gospel through recreational things that the kids really like. So, you teach a kid how to surf, you're in an environment where they don't know how to even swim. It's kind of dangerous, and you're there. You immediately build that trust with them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of you're already on this level now where you can talk to them, and they trust you, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's not as weird.
So-
I don't know if did we ask what year was it when it started?
2013.
Okay, just put some
Yeah.
context on it. So
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, and then that. Oh, sorry.
No, good.
Yeah, and then that next year, school started back for the kids, and like I said, Jake and I were still working full time, and we really had about 1 day a week where we could really dedicate to the community of Oakview and the kids that we had met at surf camp.
Right.
And so every Tuesday we would come into the community, and we started this Bible study with the kids that we had worked with at the surf camp. And because our biggest thing is, we had kids accept Christ for the first time, and
So
we're
then
not
now
just gonna
You gotta follow-
ditch
yeah.
them and
Good luck,
see you
guys.
if we
Here's the
decide to
Bible.
do a surf if we decide to do a surf camp, see you next summer,
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
thing. So we didn't know what it was gonna look like, but we decided to do a Bible study, and we did that actually in the elementary school. They let us use their
Nice.
multi-purpose room, which
that's
was
cool.
really fun.
So that was
Um,
Tuesdays, like after school.
Yeah, Tuesdays
evenings
after
or
school.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and we just started trying different things to get plugged into the community.
Mhm.
We started going to meeting with the school principals, and we started volunteering at a science club. And
Which I got to think it had to be kind of tough because it's a public school, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of it's a religion thing, and
Mhm.
how did that work? What was the kind of hurdles did you have to?
surprisingly, none. We've had this weird, I feel like, kind of grace with. I think it's really a God thing
Just
where
moving, yeah.
where God's been able to somehow give us the opportunity to weave ourselves into the public school system, where one of the craziest things is our warehouse. Before it was ever built, we started doing these talks at the high schools or the junior high or the elementary schools about what they might want to see in a community center for their own community, and kind of take a poll. That way we weren't just coming in and we think this will work,
Yeah,
and no kid
they hate
shows
it,
up
or-
because
yeah.
they hate it. Yeah. So that we actually had one of the craziest things is there was a field trip from the 5th graders that were going to be 6th graders. They took a whole field trip and marched down to our facility as a school. They had, the police blocked off the streets so all the kids could walk here, and we're sharing Christ every day in the community, and and this is a public school taking a field trip down here.
Wow.
Just
to check out this facility.
Just to check out the facility. Yeah.
So when did you
Because
guys
as
get
or go ahead.
the?
Sorry.
When did you guys get the building?
We got it December 2014. I want to say.
So that means things were moving pretty quickly then, huh?
Yeah, we had done 2 surf camps at that time.
Okay.
So our second surf camp really grew fast. It was up to like 40 kids.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah.
9 to 40. That's gnarly.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah, so we had to get used to kind of growing fast, and once the second surf camp started, it was, oh man, we're going to need more boards, we're going to need more wetsuits, we're going to need more volunteers. You kind of have to have some structure to this.
Mm-hmm.
And is this just you two like building this, or I'm sure you had support, friends and the church and everything, but it's in terms of like the vision of it and where you guys were going to take it, is that you two kind of driving everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of coffee shop conversations. And
yeah. No, that's cool, man. It's awesome to see. Well, I mean, we've barely gotten the beginning of it, but just like how things just work out, right?
Yeah.
We had a lot of support financial. Like, I mean, we were lucky to go to in front of our church and ask for boards, and they supplied that. We went to Costco and bought 9 soft top boards, and people donated wetsuits. We actually had some money to buy wetsuits, and people really came together and made it possible for us to keep doing this. The room just filled up.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, we got the kids in here.
We got company.
Maybe able to get on the mics. No, but it sounds like with that from the 9 to 40 in the surf camp, you guys were gaining trust, within the community.
Yeah.
With the families and with the kids, right?
Yeah, that's and we were able to build trust even with the schools and with the local police and everybody. we got an audience here.
An audience.
I like
How
it.
we doing, boys? What do we got going? A little skating? What's that? Oh, okay.
Do they have the wristbands?
Just to be in here. Yeah, where are you guys' wristbands at?
So what I want to know is, like, from a cultural standpoint, I can only assume that a lot of these kids were Catholic backgrounds, just from my own experience. You coming and talking to them about a Jesus that they may or may not know, what kind of feedback did you guys get, as far as like when you're trying to share with them the gospel and that they probably know a little bit about, but may not know of the personal God that you guys were trying to introduce them to?
Yeah, I think we've always had a good feedback just because we've simplified things for them. We've tried to speak as much as we can at their level, where a lot of times if you walk into even a non-Catholic church, the message for a junior high kid who's never heard it before or a high school kid who's never heard it before can be overwhelming and go right over their head, whether it's Protestant or Catholicism or Catholic. So what we've always tried to do is speak to them at their level. What are you going through at school? Are you getting bullied? Are you lonely?
Nice.
And this is what Jesus has to say about it. This is through His Word. This is a Bible that we want to introduce you to. And so, I think if you speak to anybody, whether it's junior high or high school, atheist, whoever it is, at their level, that's why we're called Common Ground, is to come and find common ground with them. Like, hey, like this is what you're going through. This is what the Bible says about it. Right. And I think that's always going to break walls and break boundaries of anything.
You didn't, and it's kind of like what God wanted us to do as people who are trying to make disciples, is you meet them where they're at. You came to their neighborhood, and really try to share with what God had done in your guys' lives.
Yeah, like what's the vibe in this community as far as like they're really into skating, soccer, just having a place for them to come and hang out. That is common ground, and then through them coming here, we can then share those things with them.
Was that like the soccer field? That was kind of the consensus? It was like, we need a soccer field.
I think when those 5th graders came, they really wanted a pool. And they wanted a paintball field.
Yeah, we tried not to
the big ones.
We have.
I think we still can make that happen.
Yeah, we could do that. We could make it into a little paintball field.
So after getting the facility and what did that look like, and where did it go from there?
So much needed to be done.
Yeah. What you see now is world different than what it was when we first rented this.
Right.
So we had a cheaper lease, but with the understanding that we were supposed to take care of everything. So we had about 3 months of no rent from our landlord, which we were really thankful for.
What a blessing.
Yeah. We were really thankful for that.
That's sick.
Yeah. But the reason for that is, I don't know if you can imagine, but there used to be 3 rooms in here and a staircase. Like, we would be in a separate room right now in the top level.
Mm-hmm.
There's no lighting in here. There's some plumbing issues.
So because was it like separate
Offices?
buildings?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so you had to knock down some walls, basically?
Yeah. So the previous tenant was a glass shop.
Yep.
And what they had done is they built a bunch of things unpermitted.
Oh, okay.
And so it hadn't been rented out since the early 90s. And so the landlord knew that, and they knew it was going to be a lot of work, probably a lot of money to get things to code and get
Right.
your certificate of occupancy. And so we just took that on head first. This, including the field as well, was tumbleweeds up to your shoulders pretty much. And so, yeah, we just decided to, shovel by shovel and paintbrush by paintbrush.
Roll your sleeves
that's
up.
sick.
Yeah, start to get this open. So
Dude,
That's
is
awesome.
gnarly to see what it is now. I mean,
Yeah.
when we were trying to find the place and I spotted the skate park, I was like, Drew, it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a legit clubhouse.
Yeah.
Like, if I was like, junior high or something, I'd be stoked.
Oh yeah.
Well, like you
come-
said,
to have a
it's
spot to come in.
community center,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah. And I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking of it. This is your guys' ministry, but this is their community center to hang out.
Yeah.
after
Essentially, it's a community center where if you show up, you're going to hear the word of God,
Yeah.
which
That's awesome.
is really cool.
And so,
Yeah.
how do you guys? What's the structure with that when you guys are trying to share? Like, what do you guys just do Bible study?
Yeah, so I'll kind of touch on that. So we're open, like Matt said, every day 2 to 6. As you can see, kids just kind of
Hanging out.
in here.
Mhm.
It's very raw. Like, we'll just we play a lot of card games. Kids play ping pong. They skate around, and what we do is through those times we invite them into certain studies afterwards. So tonight is Tuesday night, and we have a high school group. So high schoolers from this area and this community come here at 7. And we have more of a structure. We dive deeper into the Word. They're going through a series as well. They'll have dinner, and kind of that's like their community group. And then tomorrow's Wednesday. We usually have skate nights on those Wednesdays. So afterwards, from 6:30 to 8:30, Brian Sumner, who's just on, leads kids in that. And so kids show up. We have pizza. Brian will share a message or get someone to share a message, like Matt Collins. He'll come in and he gets a lot of cool guys like that to come in. And then on Thursdays is Grounded. So after 6, the girls come and they meet up, and it's kind of like a specifically girls' night, because it's kind of a lot of
dudes.
a guys' den, I guess. The skate park and everything. So we really want there to be more of more girls here to come in and feel
Space
like
for them.
have their space. So some girls that were volunteering here kind of took it upon themselves to start a girls' night, and that's how a lot of these things kind of grew, is just through people getting involved. We're like, well, we could actually do this, or we could start this. And that's what's been really cool about Common Ground, is it's just kind of grown through, not through Matt and I kind of ultimately thinking of this thing, but through people coming in and thinking, this is a need, we can do this. And that's why it's...
How many students will you get here on for the high schoolers, how many students will you have come in and do the Bible study?
It's around 15, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
10,
like a
15.
decent size, a decent sized youth group.
Yeah. And so that would be, about almost all of our small groups have between 15 to 20. So
Really?
Junior high is about that. High school is about that. and
That's
girls are
gnarly
about
to
that.
think, because you got to think though, that's them, and then what are they going to do? When
Totally.
they get of age and when they really start to follow God.
Yeah.
Imagine, like the ministries they're going to start, or the people they're going to share with, and how
Well, and they're getting their
kind of branches
foundation
out.
here,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yeah.
We've
Yeah.
already heard the interest.
Yeah.
Some kids I think have already been fired up. It's like, I want to do this.
That's
I
so
wanna
cool,
do
dude.
that.
That is
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, it's encouraging.
Yeah, and kind of another way we're structured is we have a community night twice a month where we call it Meetup Mondays, MEAT, where we traditionally we barbecue. So have some meat on the grill, and that's when we kind of invite all of our ministries together at once.
Mhm.
And so you'll have a lot more people here. Sometimes there's 100 people, in this small warehouse, and we're all
Yeah.
gathered. And that's where we play games, we have a meal together, and then we share a message. So it's kind of a little bit like a church youth group setting, but for everybody. And then throughout the weeks, when we have our Bible studies, our junior high group, our high school groups, girls group, they'll do their talks and dive deeper into the message that was.
Which is dope because like when people think of church, they have this might have this picture in mind where you go and kind of have to be quiet and stuff like this. It's like they get to come. This is their church.
Yeah.
This is where they come learn about God. And it's like you're saying, it's a hangout. Well, we see the kids right now; they're just chilling out.
Yeah.
They're
Just
being kids, and they get to be kids.
havoc.
And I think the big thing is they get to be kids.
Yeah.
They look. I can tell right now they feel safe, which might not be a thing if you're
This
out there.
wasn't here.
If you're out in the streets or whatever. I mean, we all know all the trouble that lingers. You know.
Yeah, and we've tried to implement that kind of idea into all of our ministries. You get a lot of kids that try and be tough, and you kind of have to break down those walls.
Really?
And you'll get a balloon and put shaving cream on it. You're like, oh, tonight's game, you got to shave the balloon, and they're like, no, man, I'm too cool for that.
Yeah.
But then like they see everyone having fun and smiling, and I'm like, all right, I'll be a kid again.
That is
and so
so
it's
good.
pretty fun.
So you've talked a lot about the kind of everything just falling into place and just working out. Did you guys face any kind of opposition during all of this? Maybe from the community or from something else?
I would say the biggest hurdle we've always had is we've always ran on a very tight budget.
Okay.
And a lot of that is just because we've tried to be really, really good stewards of what we've been given. When we first acquired this place, we raised $150,000 just for rent.
Are we on?
Yeah.
We're
All
back recording.
All right, Liz, you want to say something? Who do you want to say hi to?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Do you want to give a
Anyone
shout
you
out
wanna
to
say hi
anybody?
My mom. What's up?
What's your name?
Oh, Mom, what's up?
What's your name?
Elizabeth?
Liz.
Here, get her a mic.
Crystal, what do you want to say?
Shout out to Jake and Matt, and shout out to Common Ground. It's the best place ever.
Common ground.
No, that's awesome. How'd you
Omar-
guys like coming here?
Omar just does hand signs.
How'd you guys find out about this place?
Do the whole thing.
Who do you want to say?
How'd you find out about this place?
I just saw him like, I'm gonna come here because there's people here.
Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again.
Yeah, I just like saw people outside, just getting like, I should come.
Oh, really? No, that's legit.
Yeah.
Did you have friends that came here? That came here?
Yeah.
Oh, and they invited you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you been coming here?
Been coming here for a year and a half. I think I've saw some pictures of you back in the day.
Wow, that's awesome.
For a long time. What's that key on your necklace?
Well, that's what husky.
Oh, it's your house key? Okay.
Don't want to lose the
Yeah,
house
I was
key.
about to say,
Lose
that's a
that
good way to
thing.
keep it.
It's a good way to put it.
Well, thanks for saying hi.
Crystal, you have anything to say? How'd you find out about this place?
By my friends. A lot of my friends used to come here. And then I came here.
And now they don't come here anymore.
Yeah, but now I do.
All right. We'll take you over them, I guess.
Right on.
So that was a couple of your students. Or you
Couple
don't
of
call them
kids.
student. What do you call them?
Kids.
Kids.
Just your kids.
Kiddos.
Your disciples.
Watch out.
Okay.
Watch out.
Teenagers, I guess. You guys aren't kids.
I'm a kid.
You got a house key. You're an adult.
Once you get that house key, right?
Omar's
That's
behind us.
funny. What's up, Omar? What's up, brother? How's it going?
Do you want to say hi to the mic? To our audience?
Say hi, bro.
Yeah, man.
We're live.
You're live. The whole world's listening right now. What do you have to say?
This is patched into CNN right now.
The president is online.
All right, Omar doesn't want to talk. It's good.
He wants to. But
Say,
he's
just say something to the
He
mic.
wants to say something really bad.
What's
How'd you find out about it, Common Ground? Oh, so you skate and then
Oh, he's a
there-
skater.
they had a skate park here and
He's a good skater. But now he doesn't skate anymore.
Why not?
He just kind of like coaches the other skaters. Just kind of makes he just controls the skate park. Make sure things don't get out of hand.
Right on. We need that.
He's the watchdog.
so
Get out of here.
So you were talking about how you guys got funded, and so how did that happen?
Yeah, so when we initially were going to rent this place, we raised $150,000 through
Oh
church.
my gosh.
Yeah, we
That
did that.
is sick.
160 actually.
160.
We wanted to raise 150, but
That was
That's
just raised
awesome.
That was
Like
right
from the
through
church?
through the church, yeah.
Wow.
So we did a
In 3
giving
months.
campaign, and
That is incredible.
yeah,
Dude,
it was-
that's incredible.
It's a lot of generosity right there.
yeah, and it was a lot of generosity for what it felt like, 2 guys that just didn't really know what they were doing.
And how old were you guys
Right.
at the time? You like early 20s?
22,
22.
So imagine
Like
that
that.
people are giving it to a couple of 20-year-olds
Yeah.
150,000 to go do something.
Oh,
Yeah.
we were like valeting. We had so many random jobs.
Yeah,
we
we
could talk
valet-
so much about just the random stuff we've done.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was cool too because obviously this was built on a lot of prayer too. We we're not sure of anything. We didn't have any skills that were like, you should go into this. This is your skill. It was
This
like
makes
we're
sense.
Like, oh, we're gonna we prayed a lot into this. So I mean, that was one thing that was like, okay, God, like we've done the math. Like we think that it'd be smart to raise this amount of money to have rent here for 5 years to like, be self-sufficient. And so it
Mhm.
was like a prayer that we wanted to get answered. To like, okay, well, are you in this? And it was $160,000.
Yeah.
And we were
like-
like, oh man. And then we found this place. Well, I think we found the place and then we raised the money.
Mm-hmm.
But even finding this place was an answer because
Mhm.
we were praying into like, where is there a building? And it was like, this place is crazy. There's nothing in California where you can rent a warehouse and a giant field.
Yeah.
It was just like
Yeah, straight in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then to go, okay, we got that. And then it was like, okay, but we want to be, smart with the finances and we want to be able to be in the community. We don't just want to be here and then we can't be here anymore because of the money.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
did that and it was like boom, answered. It was just like, it just kept,
Yeah, so we
kept going. It was crazy.
Yeah, so when we raised that, it was a bit overwhelming for Jake and I personally. It was a lot of pressure,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
22-year-olds and so we wanted to be as good as stewards with that money as we could. So what we did is we allocated all that money just to rent, and so we had no other really
Funds for anything else?
or income for any ministry or anything. It was let's be here for, I think the rent covered 3 years of our rent. So no matter what happens, if this place looks like an empty warehouse with tumbleweeds, at least we have a place for kids to come and hang
Right.
out, and we'll see what God has in store for us for the rest.
And you're giving them a foundation, like you're not going anywhere
Yeah,
anytime
Yeah.
soon. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
we
consistency is what we've been doing this whole time. It's
Yeah.
even if there's one kid that showed up during our time at the school,
Right.
Keep
just
going.
always showing up. And
Yeah.
I think it really got. I mean, me personally, it showed me that God's extremely faithful.
Yeah.
I think there's opportunities in our life to really exercise our faith, and when we decided to kind of use the money in that way, it really caused us to have to ask for help. When there was no lighting in here, we had to, all right, God, like I don't know how to do electricity. Like I need an electrician to help me out, and so Jake and I, we were in here with the electrician, helping him out, helping put up the
We
lights.
donated $300. I think they're a piece. There's
Yeah.
3 of them in here.
Yeah, there's a nice
Expensive
LEDs.
for
Yeah.
free. He came and installed them. And
Really?
Yeah.
Someone from your church?
No,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
this
no.
was a
Random.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You should tell them about the skate park.
Yeah, another thing. Obviously, a lot of the kids love skateboarding, and we, again, didn't have any money, but oh man, we want to have a skate park, and so kept praying, kept asking God for help, and this was a crazy moment when I was at the time I was working alongside Jake for this guy who he does a lot of marketing. So we were working for a marketing company doing different events, and I was at a restaurant having a meeting with him, and these 2 brothers come by and they start talking to him. His name's Juan, and these 2 brothers come up to his table and like, "Hey Juan, how's it going?" And Juan's sitting there and he's like, "Oh man, I haven't seen you guys in forever." And I'm meanwhile just kind of sitting at the table,
Mhm.
letting them catch up, not really saying anything. And they get to small talking, and then eventually the 2 brothers say, "We have this skate park up in
Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita, yeah, up north.
Far
Yeah,
away.
pretty far. And we need to move, and we need to give away our skate park. We have nowhere to take it.
Come on.
And so
Come
that's when I
on.
reached across the table, shook his hand, introduced myself, and I basically said, "Hey, I'll take your skate park." So that's how we got our skate park out there. Was
That's
Massive.
amazing.
Massive
Dude.
indoor.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm putting myself in your shoes, and you guys are like following God, right? Or you're thinking you are, and He keeps on opening these doors. Your faith must have been, your belief in Him must have been intense at that time. Thinking I know God is, I believe in God, but this is really, because you hear about that stuff all the time. But then when it happens to you, it just puts everything in, like, just everything is like God is there, and you're just like staring at His work, His hand on things, and you're just like, dang.
Yeah.
Dude, I call that the holy smokes moment. That's where you're like, holy smokes.
Yes. So many holy smokes.
Yeah, I called Jake right away. I was like, "Hey, man, I think we got a free skate park tonight."
I was in a movie and I got like 5 missed calls and just kept blowing up. So this is important.
What movie was it?
I can't even remember.
The skate park is the memorable part, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are currently doing this full time, or no?
Just-
that's a question.
Just me, just Jake.
Just
Okay.
Jake, yeah.
Right on.
So I still work full time. I work in the mornings, 6 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Dang, and then you come here in the evening.
Not every day.
Okay.
Try to as much as I can.
Okay.
That's a legend.
No, that's great.
crazy.
I didn't know, so that was kind of a question, but I was assuming.
And then Nora, the girl that's here, gets paid. She's part-time.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
So she's able to be here. She's a Spanish speaker, so
Oh,
she does a
okay.
lot with the parents. And
So what was the current or recently you guys did that
the benefit.
Yeah, the benefit. What was that? Why don't you explain that a little bit?
So that was our first fundraiser. Like Matt said, it's been
since 2014.
we're really bad at asking for money. Really bad at just kind of trying to get more money, and so we were like, man, it's been 5 years. We need to do something because we're running out of funds, and this place obviously takes rent. We have people that are here full time. There's different ministries that we're doing, so we're like, we need to raise this money. So we were trying to raise $50,000 in a night. We had a full-on benefit here. We had dinner. We had live music. We had kind of like a gallery that you could walk through and see pictures of each ministry that we do. We had just different pieces in here that you could see, and then so we were trying to raise $50,000, and then we had a matching donor that was gonna match us up to $50,000.
No,
so we were like, we gotta
on.
raise $50,000.
Dude.
There's a lot of
raise
pressure.
$100,000.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was like going to be really embarrassing if we only raised like $20,000. Then we're like, oh, okay. So anyways, the night ends up and we raised 94 grand.
Gosh.
And then we got the matching on top of that. So 50, I think it was
180 something.
142 grand.
Oh.
I think it came to.
Oh,
you
it was up
up
to
to
50.
50.
Up to
50,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha,
So we got
gotcha.
matched up to 50, and then so it was
But that's
just
all in one night.
Yeah.
one night. It's crazy.
Dude, come on.
Just another. It's just another holy smokes moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would have been, holy
Holy
smokes.
smokes.
Holy smokes.
I mean, and I don't think we've talked about this, but we're also gonna have to leave this place in 30 days. So we were
Wow.
also having to let people know that, like, we're raising money, but we're going to continue doing what we're doing. We're not going to have this building, but we have some goals that we're trying to do. We're trying to get a house in the community that we can use and that people can meet there. It's actually more centered in the middle of the community, which will be, I think, better for us.
Right.
So we were actually calling people into that with their donations, and it went really, really crazy. We got some crazy people.
Yeah.
I can't even hear myself talk anymore.
Jake's
Come on,
quite
Jake.
quieting the kids.
Let kids be kids.
You're
You're like, you don't know them.
no, that
See their faces when they're like,
that's awesome, man. And then so is this if people want to support the ministry, what can they do? Like our listeners.
Yeah, so we have our website, thecommonground.org, and that we have a donate page on there. So
Okay.
we take one-time as well as monthly donors.
Is this a
Okay.
nonprofit?
Yeah, 501c3
Nice.
nonprofit. So we formed that in 2014.
Oh, okay.
kinda
So it's
after
been
our
some time.
second surf camp. So
yeah, it's not just Matt and I calling the shots. We got a full board of directors now.
Right,
We got a
yeah.
solid team behind us.
Yeah.
And, that are really help us in making decisions. And
yeah.
So other than finding a new place and that, what's the vision? What's on the rise?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, honestly, I mean, is finding a new place. That will give us a lot of stability moving forward. This warehouse we rented it knowing that the landlord would never allow any renter in here, because we share this building as well with some other people, but they never allow a permanent lease. It's always something that they could terminate. But to all the other renters, it was the scare for the last 50 years, and we happened to get it on year 50, I guess, where we've been here for four years now. So we've had some solid ministry time here, but it is going to be sad to see it leave. But yeah, the biggest thing, even looking ahead of the next 2 years or so, is to really have our own space. That's why we're looking possibly at this house to purchase, to where we know, 30 years, 40 years, we're still in the community, and we're still, we have a solid foot in the door. So,
and something really special about all this is we've been dealing with the city a lot in all this, and they've been so supportive, the city, in helping us get and acquire a spot. So if we get to this house, they already said, we'll help you with all of the zoning issues.
That's
whatever you guys want to do.
on.
We want to put a skate park in there. It has room for it. So they're like, we'll help you with that. They've also come to us with some other spots in the community that we could use. So there's been some crazy the elementary school principal here has, again, this is a new one now, but she's offered to full support and help us in a room so we can continue to do in this meantime, where we're not going to have a place or have a house, that we can continue to do all of our ministry.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Also, I mean, we have 3. You can see here we have community, restoration, and then the last one's adventure. I mean, Matt and I try and live an adventurous life, and we wanted to take that to Common Ground as well. So I mean, we're going to continue to do all of our trips. We've gone to Death Valley. We've done Zion. We've gone to the beach a whole bunch. I don't know what else.
Joshua Tree.
Yeah. So we really want to continue. We're able to continue to do that no matter where we're at.
Right,
so we're able to do keep doing all those.
Well, I think that's awesome, because like you were saying before, a lot of these kids didn't even make it, a few miles down the road to go see the beach. So you guys are letting them know the possibilities and what this life has to offer, as far as experiences and just the possibilities of what we can do. Because I think at a certain point in certain neighborhoods, you just get stuck.
Yeah.
You don't know what's possible. You don't know. You don't have any hope, because you just don't know that it's. You see, you see the same thing happen. You just think that's the life that we live.
Yeah.
And you guys are showing them that no, there's more. And there's that God has to offer.
Yeah. And we've really had to learn sort of how to program well. We've now have like I said, our 7 ministries. So each ministry now has their own leaders, their own head leaders, and their own camps throughout the year. So it's been able to expand us and give more to all the kids. So this last winter, we had our first junior high winter camp, which was crazy for us. And when we first started knocking on doors 6 years ago, we never knew that we were going to have a winter camp dedicated to just junior high.
Right.
And then not only high schoolers, they went to.
How many kids do we have on? We had a
lot of kids.
Bunch of kids.
And
then we got to go sledding. A lot of them go sledding for the first time. And I'll never forget this. We, again, working on no budget, wanting to take kids sledding. It's expensive. Yeah. And I got some money from my grandma. Shout out to Grandma. She gave me $500. And we went to go pay for everyone. And the exact price was $500. And she even gave us a little deal, which was crazy, dude. I was just like, what? This is exactly how much money we...
Yeah. Those just
those
times you see God in it, it's just but it shows you guys are 2 guys that just started with something, maybe an idea that was small, but faithfully you're living this out and you're living your faith out to be able to love on these kids that are in this community that maybe might go down a wrong path, or you're giving them an outlet to be away from that, and it's just it's really inspiring to see what you guys have done.
And not only that, to see what God will do when you're answering that call, when you're following Him faithfully. I'm so excited for you guys. I feel like the way He's been working, that whatever you guys have in mind, it's probably going to be greater.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't always this luxurious, I guess you could call it. Like, we didn't always have a building. We didn't always have a skate park. I think just what's been rewarding is, I think, just like I said before, our consistency. Even though there's been one kid you know, and I think luckily God sees that. Not everyone sees it, you know, but God sees that.
Yeah, there was a period of time where we weren't sure what it was ever going to look like. I mean, we had, we had one kid for a while.
I mean, we were doing stupid stuff like playing basketball with the football. We didn't have a basketball.
That was like our low.
So dumb.
That was maybe our low point. We had this Bible study, and
Matt and I always leave it. What is what is this ever
What are
gonna
we
be
doing?
anything?
Yeah.
That is
This
so
kid-
funny.
Even going back to South Africa, we got thrown into this ministry that didn't have any kids yet, and we were in a garage. We were painting walls with orange peels. I remember that, and we sat for 2 weeks praying for kids to show up. And I mean, Matt and I would just go to this garage in a township and just sit and pray and ask God to bring some kids. And 2 weeks went by, and he did, and it kind of grew. We had 20 kids in the township. We're all walking down and just teaching them how to pray and surf.
Reminds you, don't forget your roots. Remember where it started.
Absolutely.
And keep that core value of what you guys are doing.
Dude, that's something that we constantly try and do here is like remembering the holy smokes moment, because you can get to the next hurdle and get to be like, dude, God, this is crazy, and this isn't going to happen, or this, and then just you constantly have to remember to look back and see where he has provided, and just constantly remember that he's there, even though we're kind of get to this, we're losing our building. But we did all this work for this building, but it's,
what could it be?
Yes, exactly. So we're excited for what's next. And
remembering the crossing of the Red Sea, and then the Jordan, and remembering all the landmarks, of how God provided.
Yeah, we do not want to be those Hebrews that constantly complain and forget, and
which we can be, right?
Yeah,
we can be.
Absolutely. And even talking to a lot of the kids, some of their sweetest memories are when we had an old garage in this community. That was our first headquarters, really. It was like this lady was still using the garage, so whenever she would pull her car out, that was our space.
That's sick.
Had to be
Dude, that is
we were all go to the garage and the car would be there, be like,
that is legit.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
And so that was our first headquarters in the community. And some of the kids' finest memories are we had a movie night in the garage. I mean, this thing is tiny. We found an old couch by the dumpster, so we put a couch in there. And we had a movie night on a laptop where we watched this surf film. And I remember some of the kids are like, back in those days, like that was super fun. And really, like now look at us now, like we have so much. It's like, I don't know, that was fun. There's something sweet about those times where you don't have much, and that's where God is like, whether you have little or a lot, like you just gotta keep sharing the love of God, and kids are gonna,
especially for kids. I think that the little things mean so much to them.
Yeah.
It's like I can buy the dopest toy for my kid, and what he enjoys is me just going to the park with him. Like, it's the stuff that doesn't cost any money. It's the time, and that's ultimately what you guys are doing is giving your time.
There's a story when we were in South Africa. This little kid, we were playing Foursquare, and we didn't have a ball with us, and so
dude, I was a king of Foursquare.
Playing the streets of Africa, bro.
Oh yeah,
It's gnarly.
No longer be the king. But this kid, we were like, we don't have a ball, and we didn't have a ball either, and so we couldn't even help out. But one of the kids, they don't have anything. When it rains, their roofs are flooded. It's that level. So he's like, I got a ball, and he just sprints off. And I'll never forget. He comes back and he's super excited. And there's a dirty tennis ball that he has in his hand, and he's amped that he's like contributing to the game with that dirty tennis ball. And I just I remember, I'll never forget that, because at that moment I remembered, like, man, I grew up with a family that loved sports, like basketball, soccer, football, and there was a tub of balls at my house, and constantly, every room there was like 3 balls in it, and like that was his one ball that he's like, I got a ball, like let me contribute to that. And I think in the same way, like even here in this context where it's not as impoverished by any means from the townships of Africa, but there's, when you do the little things, it's still gonna mean a lot to the kids, so I think moving into this next season where we don't have a building, like we got to remember those times where it's like, hey, like, you got a ball, you got a football, you can still go out there and play catch with a kid, and they're gonna see that as love, and something that is meaningful to them.
I think too, we're trying to bring the kids into the current common ground struggles as well, and so we know that like, hey, we're trusting in God in this. Like, you know, we've had kids that are like, what? We're losing the place. They kind of don't understand it, but like, why? Like, why the 30th? Why that day? Like, why? Who gets to decide that? You know, all these things, and you know, I think we're just trying to be faithful and not, you know, and show that we are trusting in God alone, and just I think that hopefully that them being in this thing of like, well, I grew up in common ground, like I saw them lose this building, and then they were here, and then but it's just still been growing and being blessed, and so I think it'll be really cool for the kids to be a part of that.
Right. Yeah. So keep them in the loop, be transparent about it, and then pray together about it. Right. And so they can see the prayers being answered when God does give you guys the next season. You know. Yeah.
And we have kids that literally have been with us since day one, since 2013. So
that's legit.
They've been able to see
that's so cool.
all of the growing pains, and they'll be able to walk through this next season with us too. And I can't even, you know, hopefully their faith is growing as we continue to grow with them. So,
well, people out there, be praying for Common Ground. We'll have some links on the show notes so people can look you guys up and hopefully donate and support, and definitely pray for this next season and just what you guys are doing.
Awesome.
So
thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
First podcast.
Wasn't so bad.
Yeah. No.
It's not so bad.
We'll have to do it again for sure.
Yeah, get some updates.
In our next location, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
So with that, I just ask that everybody will open their eyes, listen closely, soften their heart, and ask God to reveal himself to you.